North and South Seafood and Smokehouse presents The Kelly Sheffield Show on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Alongside Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach Kelly Sheffield, here's Jon Arias.
And welcome. This is the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse on the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network. I'm Jon Arias, joined by Wisconsin head coach Kelly Sheffield. Today, we're going to take a look back at Senior Day for the Badgers and look forward to the final two regular season matches before the NCAA Tournament starts. Also, a little bit later on in this episode, questions from you, the fans, for the head coach Kelly Sheffield. All right, here we go. MLV Draft was underway this week. And a couple of Badgers are headed to the same team in Dallas. So what was the mood like? What was the atmosphere like as Mimi Colyer goes number 1 overall, and then in the third round, 19th overall, it's Carter Booth going to Dallas?
Number one, it's cool that we're in this place where there's, we've got two pro leagues that are going about things very, very differently. But the opportunity to play in our country, have two different options, and overseas. And so it's the MLV that used to be PVF. Most of their players are players that are just out of college recently, or going to be graduating, like our two players. League One, LOVB, who has a franchise here in Madison. Most of them are players that have been out of college for a while or overseas. Quite honestly, I was extremely disappointed that they didn't go after the two, that LOVB did not go after the two Wisconsin kids. That seemed to be an absolute no-brainer. And or they made decisions right before the MLV's draft, and it was just kind of too late. Mimi is definitely going to be in Dallas. Carter, it's to be determined. I think she's going to suss out some of her options in Europe to compare and to see. So that had her that uncertainty had her drafted a little bit lower than what she would have been had she told them that she was definitely going to stay here in the States. I think she would have been a late first round, early second round pick had that been the case. And Dallas took a chance to be able to get her. I was a little surprised that Allie Andrew didn't get drafted. I know there was a lot of talk about her from some different places. And but those hours that we were all together in our team room and watching, it was cool. It was a lot of emotion, a lot of different types of emotions. It's too bad it's got to happen right now during our season. That's the part that really stinks, is that these guys are having to worry about, what league and what continent and talking with agents, and all these things are just happening right now at a time that it should be about their college experience and getting into finals and all those other things. But we don't get to choose when, and just the opportunity and the options are pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up love volleyball as well, because I did have a comment online when I did post that Mimi had gone number 1, saying, hey, what about Love? And it seems like that would have made a really good pairing to, after losing Sarah Franklin. This past year, she played 1 season for Love Madison. It would have been great to see Mimi stay in town too. But
it 100% would, and it's their model of how they go about things. Look, both pro leagues have things they've got to work on, right? The production of what this draft was that we just saw. They had wrong players listed on. They would show the face of somebody, of one of the players' teammates that just got drafted. Those types of things just can't happen, but they do happen when you're young and you're getting started, right? And so there's some issues with that, and with Love. The fact that you have multiple All-Americans here in this town, and either trying to get them to play for another team in their league, which makes zero sense to me at all. There's just a lot. There's things that make sense to you and I, and probably a lot of people that are watching, that some of these guys have not gotten their head wrapped around. Regardless, really excited about the League One season here in Madison, and I'm sure that I'll be frequently going down to Dallas, especially if Carter decides to be there to watch both of our players. That's pretty cool. So there's and we got to find a place for Allie, and I'm sure, we know that she's going to have some opportunities overseas. The question will be, will she have any here in the States this first year?
And speaking, by the way, back to Mimi Colyer, number 1 pick in the MLV draft. Are you running out of things to say about Mimi Colyer? Because every week she just comes up with another stat line that just you shake your head, but you go, I guess that's what she's doing this year.
Now, she gives me talking points on her every week. And so it's, just kind of puts it on a little piece of paper, hands it to me and says, this is what I want you to say this week. No, clearly that's a joke. It's a bad joke because I've got to explain it.
I got it.
But she's, man, what a week that she just had. What a match against Iowa that she just had. And that's the trick. The best players are able to do it week in and week out. And she's been obviously an important player for us. And there were a couple matches in there that our offensive numbers haven't been what they were in other matches, but she's impacted the match in other ways. And that's what an elite outside needs to be able to do, is can you impact it blocking, serving, passing, defending, front row, back row. There are just so many different ways that she can impact it. But she just put numbers, and our team just put up numbers against Iowa that we've never done before as a program in the Big Ten.
Yeah, 510 hitting percentage against the Hawkeyes overall. Mimi, 23 kills without an error, 605. That's a season high for her. Can you put into perspective just kind of how difficult this is as well, considering that the opposition knows Mimi Collier's on the other side, and they're trying to come up with a game plan to slow her down, and so far it's not working.
Yeah, sometimes you'll have a third or fourth option kind of really go off against you at times, because you've got choices to make, right? But everybody is locked in on Mimi, right? I mean, that's the first person that you're showing in your film room, and disguising a defense or putting together a defensive plan against her. And those are some sick numbers. And she's doing some things here kind of toward the end that we weren't doing earlier. So I think every couple of weeks you're seeing new shots that she wasn't doing. She goes in and just annihilates what we call a rip ball. She did a couple of those against Iowa, and we're doing that a little bit more. We weren't really running that at all earlier in the season, and holy smokes! And I think, her game just going to the next level, and she's capable of being even better than what she is right now. But the first set against Iowa, we had 23 kills and 25 points. I've never seen that. To have that many kills. I think we had 23 assists. That's kind of crazy. But that also means Iowa didn't give us a lot of points. They gave us 2 points in the other 20, because we had 0 blocks in the first set as well. All of our 23 points came off, or 25 points came off of their 2 errors. So very clean set for them. 23 errors or kills for us.
And another thing to add about Mimi Colyer, I didn't know if you knew this, but she's 4th all time now, single season, with 451 kills. This is 25-point rally scoring. 36 kills away from taking over 3rd place, which was 2023 Sarah Franklin. And she's 85 kills away from the most ever kills under 25-point rally scoring ever. So, she's making a charge at that number. And I know you mentioned in the post-match press conference too about NCAA Volleyball put her on the cover. Yeah, that'd be great. Number one, if they had a video game, how fun would that be to have like a college game and play with, all your favorite teams or whatnot. But yeah, she would definitely be a contender for the face of that.
Well, you didn't give a shout out to who is leading, who has the most kills in side out.
Well, most kills. So I'm just looking at 25-point rally scoring.
Yeah.
But the most ever in side out is Sharissa Livingston.
Who has the most in 25?
Sarah Franklin, 2024.
Okay, so she was number one on that. It's and one of the things to think about it is how many. Most of our matches have been 3-0.
Yep.
Right. I mean, we've had one 5-setter. We've only had 3 or so matches that have gone 4 sets, very few. And, I think of how many more kills she would have if we were playing a little bit deeper in, but her kills per set have certainly been pretty gnarly.
Yeah. 84 total sets played this season for Mimi. Sarah played 120 sets in 2024. So you can see the difference right there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to touch on a couple of other standouts from the weekend. Take a look forward as well. Final weekend of the season on the road for the Wisconsin Badger volleyball team, plus questions from the fans a little bit later on. This is the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse on the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network. Welcome back. It's the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse on the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network. Wisconsin 15-3 overall in the Big Ten. They are 22-4 this season, and they will wrap up the Big Ten campaign on the road with a road match at Northwestern the day before Thanksgiving. Then on Black Friday, a top 25 match against Minnesota. Second time you'll get the Gophers this season. I do want to touch on those two, but I know one thing for your offense, we talk about Mimi Colyer because obviously she's putting up great numbers, but Grace Egan, for the first time since September 21st, had 10 or more kills in a match on Sunday against Iowa. What does it mean when she's clicking offensively for this team?
Look out. It's, I mean, she hit 417 on the week, passed over a 2-1, was her second highest serving percentage, serving average player on the team. It's, I think she's getting healthier and healthier, and she is, she's really, really capable of taking us to a different level.
And Charlie Furbringer, was she a little bit more active on Sunday, on senior day, than she has been? I mean, she tied her season high with 4 kills, and then just, with Mimi's productivity, with the team's efficiency, the 49 assists in 3 sets really stood out too.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was named Big Ten Player of the Week or Setter of the Week or whatever. I think for the 4th time, and that's got to be. I think that's more than any other setter has had this year, and she missed 10 matches, and so yeah. I think she has been the Setter of the Week in the Big Ten about half the time, half the weeks that she's played, and it's just too bad that she's just not going to be eligible for any other postseason awards, because she is. It'd be shocking to see if there was a setter that's playing at a higher level than what she's been since she's come back.
And then I did want to talk about this moment in the match. If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. The men's swimming and diving team showed up in the student section, and man, they were trying to provide a distraction for the Iowa passers at various points. And if you're watching, you can see the picture where they had one of their teammates like swimming across the student section while they carried him.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard of crowd surfing. This is crowd swimming. He's got a Speedo on, nice footy socks there, and then he's got has got the thing over his hair to make him glide through the crowd a little bit easier. The most impressive thing is just, that where you put your hands, you really got to be paying attention when you're holding them up. Apparently this is a guy that kind of likes Nat a little bit. And so her focus in this moment, I'll tell you what, earlier in the year, she would have served this ball underneath the net. But she's gotten a lot better with distractions, and it doesn't get any more distracting than this.
that was pretty funny. Props to the team and to the student section there on Sunday on Senior Day at Wisconsin. I thought that was really great. And shout out to Jake who got that photo. Go follow Jake Kogorowski. I believe I'm saying your name right, Jake. At Jake KOCO on X, and follow his great Badger coverage too. But he's the one that took that photo. So I thought that was pretty fun. Hey, so this weekend, a couple of road matches before the regular season ends and the NCAA tournament starts. And this is, I mean, if we talk about how whirlwind the season seems in November, this last week is just thing after thing after thing after match, and then all of a sudden the tournament's there, and you're in that win or go home mode.
Yeah. I mean, what is in front of us? We play Northwestern, obviously, on Wednesday. Then we fly immediately afterwards to Minneapolis. That we have Thanksgiving on Thursday in Minneapolis, play Minnesota on Friday, fly back Friday night. You have the, we've got a lift in and the selection show on Sunday. And, we'll play Thursday, Friday is what we put in. So, and all of this while you got finals and obviously some of these guys are leaving here right after the season and going and playing either professionally or graduating or whatever. And so, how do you keep everybody kind of on task and being where their feet are and still soaking up everything when things are just flying like crazy? That's one of the challenges with playing. And the biggest part of the year is that in semester, the end of the semester when everything else is kind of going on. It's a challenge. And the people that are able to navigate that and help their team and their players, staff do that are usually the ones that are having some success.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, questions for head coach Kelly Sheffield from you, the fans. That's next. This is the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse on the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network. Welcome back. It's the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. The Badgers hit the road. Final matches of the regular season Wednesday at Northwestern, and then Friday night at 8 p.m. against Minnesota. You can hear Wednesday online on the ESPN Wisconsin app, Friday on 100.5 ESPN and across the state too. All right, time for questions. I put out the post on X asking for questions for you, Coach, and here's what we have. In what ways does the group celebrate the seniors during the final week of regular season practices? Do you do any of that? During
the practices? No. I mean, they dressed up the locker room with all of that kind of stuff, and we talked a little bit. We had a post-match kind of senior night thing in Victory Hall after the match with the families and staff and team and things like that. And that was pretty cool. I'd say those would be the two biggest things.
Okay. Joey asks, how does the NCAA evaluate injuries during the season when it comes to seeding?
I think they do when, we've seen proof of that. That's certainly, how you look at us. We've lost one set since opening weekend with Charlie as a setter. That's a little bit different than maybe what our record was when her and Grace were both out. They look at it a little positively if you're getting the players back. If you lose them for the year, I think that takes into account as well. But yeah, the committee does take that into account.
Dan asks, with about 3 minutes left before a match starts, players are completing warm-ups and Kelly is standing alone on the sideline looking deep in thought. What's going through his head in those last couple minutes before the match?
Oh, Jesus. Probably depends on what. Yeah. Wow. It probably differs from match to match. I usually try to stay pretty calm at that. I try not to take too much into account of our warm up. Actually, our warm up, I used to take that into account a lot, and that would get me in places I probably didn't really want to go. That wasn't beneficial for everybody. So I'm usually not dialed in overly too much on what the warm up is. I'm probably watching them to see the opposing team, what their health, what their movement, how they seem to be, is probably a little bit more.
Okay. Let's see here. Why isn't Grace ripping her topspin serve? Asks Scott.
Well, she had knee surgery in the middle of the season. And so, we've been trying to be really mindful of the types of reps and pounding we've been putting on her, with her flow serve, which is really, really good and accurate. You're not doing max jumps and landings on that, and that, the force and the torque of the body that you are with the topspin. So it just, she was still learning her topspin. And when you're learning that, it takes a lot of reps to kind of master it. And, while she's still in that phase, it just didn't make sense to put that type of pounding and wear and tear on it when she was coming back. So we may bring it back next year, but I think that puppy is on the shelf for the rest of this year.
Okay. Colby asks, what part of the team's game, if improved during the final week of the regular season, would make you more confident in the team's ability to make a deep run in the tournament?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's tweaking a little bit this time of the year and, adding a wrinkle or two. I think we need to continue to tighten up our defense, our block and our D. Those are some areas that we feel like we can be a little bit better. I think attacking wise and the number of options and the areas of the court we can get into, I think we're as good as anybody in the country in that. I think we'll spend a lot more time on defense, maybe a couple of wrinkles offensively. Certainly try to how good can we be at the serve and pass game as well. We're a pretty good serving team, and I feel like we're passing extremely, extremely well right now. But those would be some of the areas.
Tiff asks, we're heading into the home stretch of what many of us fans have observed to be an epic storyline with adversity, resilience, and evolution. Coach makes it look easy, though we know it's not. So what keeps him up at night?
What keeps me up at night? Oh, gee, many crickets. Truthfully, John, it's probably something different every night. I know going into the Iowa match, I wanted to get Jada in and have her start. I really wanted her to be able to feel the starting lineup and going and high-fiving all the fans. And so when I went to bed, the thought was we're going to start in row 6. She's going to be our first server, and instead of Nats. And then at 3:45, I woke up and thought, wait a minute, why don't I have her as a second row? And we
okay, yeah.
And I thought, all right, I got to remember that when I wake up, and I went back to sleep. So it's something different. It could be something. It could be anything. Very, very random. It's always going to happen every single night. The question is, do I remember it? In the
You got to get a notepad next to your bed, I guess. All right. So Wisconsin wraps up the regular season on the road at Northwestern on Wednesday night. That one starts the pre-match show at 6:30. First serve just after 7. You can catch it on the ESPN Wisconsin app, as always, on the announcer cam on YouTube. And then Friday night, 7:30 pre-match show just after 8 p.m. Wisconsin ends the regular season Friday night at Minnesota. Also, you can listen on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and on YouTube on announcer cam too. All right, Coach, that's the show for this week. And then it's the tournament after that. Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Stay fierce.
All right, there you go. I should have asked you about that. This has been the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse on the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network.